Hi, everybody. How are you guys doing? Good. I'm doing well. So today I wanted to talk about breakfast. But before we do that, I'm starting this whole These Wellness Wednesday series. Since a lot of people are off, and we've been getting a lot of comments and feedback on the little tips that I've been putting out. So I just decided let's just do Wednesdays. I started with Mondays, but Mondays was a little hard sometimes, and then Tuesdays. So I figure Wellness Wednesdays kind of rhymed. You guys like it? What do you think? All right, so I'm talking about breakfast today, and the reason I'm talking about breakfast is that many of us actually have time now to have breakfast, right? We're not running to catch the train or running to get in our cars to go to work for 9 o'clock. We have a little more leisure now. We wake up and we're able to do a few things and actually sit and have breakfast, right? So the question is, are we having healthy breakfast or not? Are we still having some of those grab and go bad habits that we had when we were commuting? Or even if you never commuted, what your breakfast habits are like. So I'm going to talk a little bit about breakfast. And so my first question is breakfast the most important meal of the day? We kind of grew up hearing that. I know I did. And even, just in the world, people always say, gotta have your breakfast. It's the most important meal of the day. But is it really? Well, yes and no. So it all depends. So first of all, breakfast is exactly what it is. Break the fast, right? It's the first meal that we eat that activates the digestive system after the overnight hours, after that break. So you might have eaten at 9 o'clock at night or 10 o'clock, and then the next morning you had at least 12 hours or so before your next meal. So it actually, whatever foods you eat, it's what activates our digestive system. Now you can eat your breakfast at noon, you can eat your breakfast at 2, you can eat your breakfast at 3, you can eat your breakfast at 4. What really matters is what is the first meal that breaks that fast. That's breakfast, right? Now, what's more important, not when, but what. So I'm not an early morning breakfast eater. I usually have maybe smoothie in the morning sometimes, but my eating time is anytime afternoon. That's just when I feel like I get hungry. I really don't get hungry earlier on in the day, but that's just how my body works. So my breakfast really most times starts after noon, and that's not wrong. It's my first meal, right? So just changing a little bit in terms of how we think about breakfast, that breakfast has to be early in the morning and it has to be 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock. It's just the first meal, whenever that time is. So what's more important when it comes to breakfast is what you eat and not when you eat it, right? So there are a couple of things that that we are just used to when it comes to breakfast foods. But I just want to let you know that if you eat the wrong things to break that fast, then two things are going to be affected. Two things in your body. First of all, is your hunger hormones, and then your gut bacteria. Now, we don't really think about those things, but really that's what it is. So there are two hormones there. There's ghrelin and leptin. And one tells you when you're hungry, and the next one is it tells you when you're full. But if you don't eat the right things for breakfast, then those two hormones can be totally disrupted. And what happens is if you eat the wrong things, you're setting yourself up for that day for additional cravings, low energy, potentially mood swings. It's not a good idea for weight management because that could create issues. Also create digestive issues if you're not having the right thing for breakfast. So my best advice is to make sure that you're having good nutrient-dense foods to break that fast. And at the end, I'm just going to give some ideas of what I consider good, healthy, nutrient-dense foods that would set you up for success for the rest of the day when you're having your breakfast. But first, there are three foods that I wanted to talk about that we often, it's like a go-to when it comes to breakfast, right? We all are guilty, most of us. Anyway, I know I am. I reach for them all the time. And it depends on what type of the one of those three foods. There could be some that are healthy in that category, but there's some that are definitely not. So the first one I want to talk about is yogurt. Now, yogurt, there's a wide variety of them. It's a huge market right now with yogurt. And they're all varieties, flavors, sizes, all different types. But I want you to be aware that a 6-ounce container of yogurt should not have more than at least 13 grams of sugar. If you have a 6-ounce can of yogurt and it has more than 13 grams of sugar, you might want to just put it to the side, right? Because that's just too much sugar to start your day. That's activating cravings, low energy, and moods. Not good for weight management at all. Anything over 20 grams, forget it. The other thing you want to look for when it comes to yogurt is, in addition to sugars, it's high fructose corn syrup. Now, high fructose corn syrup is a chemical. Our brains really don't recognize it. It's a chemical, it's something foreign. And whenever we eat things that are foreign to our bodies, what happens? Does anybody know? Okay. Well, if you're thinking it's stored as fat, that's exactly what happens. When your brain comes in contact with foods or things that it doesn't recognize, it stores it as fats. It can't use it. It's not useful for building our tissues and our cells, which is really what food is, what food does for us. It helps to build our tissues and our cells and gives us energy and all of that stuff. So you put high fructose corn syrup, a chemical, into your body. It really does nothing that's very useful to it. So you want to stay clear of high fructose corn syrup. We have to start becoming vigilant when it comes to reading labels. We have to become like the label detective, right? You pick up your food, you need to know what's in it. Particular in labels is a whole nother session that I could do, but just a little pro tip here. If you pick up a container of something that has in more than 5 ingredients, or it has ingredients that you can't pronounce, you don't know what they are, you best stay clear of it, because you shouldn't have to be eating things that you can't even pronounce, right? So beware of that when it comes to yogurt. The other thing about yogurt is there are a lot of yogurt companies out there that are touting yogurt that gives probiotic benefits. Now, yeah, so here's my thing with that. So we all know that yogurt is made from milk for the most part, the regular ones. It's pasteurized. That's part of the processing of making yogurt. And what happens in the pasteurization process is that the bacteria gets killed. And so if the probiotics are supposed to be good bacteria, it's supposed to be helping your gut, and it's going through this pasteurized process, by the time it gets to your little 6-ounce can, there's not much left. And what researchers have found is that by the time you eat that can of yogurt that's supposed to be probiotic beneficial, there's not much left in there. So maybe you don't fall too much for, that's a probiotic yogurt, I'm getting all the probiotic I need. Not necessarily. You might get some, but not as much as you should, based on how they advertise it, right? The next thing I want you to be aware of when it comes to selecting breakfast foods is wheat bread or whole wheat bread. Not all of them are created equally. There are some popular brands that it says whole wheat, so we eat in whole wheat. But if you read the labels and the ingredients, if you're seeing sugar as one of the first ingredients, and if there's high fructose corn syrup, again, it's not good. And the reason why I'm saying these things are not good, because again, they're setting you up for cravings, low energy, mood swing, and not great weight management, and not a healthy gut. as something that you're going to have for your first meal to break the fast. So that's kind of why I'm stressing those two ingredients are never that great, and we find them a lot in our breakfast foods. So read your labels on your whole grain bread. And I know somebody may be saying, well, I don't eat white bread, I use whole wheat. But you still got to be aware of what's in your whole wheat bread, right? Don't forget, a lot of them have a very long shelf life, and you got to watch foods that have a very long shelf life, because what they have in most of the time is preservative, and to keep them longer, right? Can't be too healthy if they're on the shelf forever and ever. And the third popular breakfast food I want you to stay clear of, or at least read the labels before you have it, are cereal bars. Now I know, don't hate me, I know. They're convenient, they're easy, they're grab and go. Believe me, I've been there. I eat them. I used to eat a lot more of them. Now I'm very cautious about which ones I eat. I don't really mess around with them too much anymore. I used to give them to my kids. I used to pack them in their lunch boxes. So, because I didn't know, right? And now marketers are getting smart because they know they're convenient, and everybody grabs them. You get a whole box at BJ's or Costco's, and you can have them for the whole week. And I got my breakfast and my coffee, and I'm good, right? But and they market them as such, that they're healthy breakfast foods. They're convenient. They're ready to go. But what you as a consumer need to be vigilant and be aware of is reading the labels. Read the labels. A lot of them, again, those two things, high sugars and high fructose corn syrup, those are not good things for you to be breaking the fast. They're counterproductive if you're trying to live a healthy life. They're counterproductive if you're trying to lose weight. They're counterproductive if you're trying to have a good digestive system. Right? So I'm not coming down on these products hard because I'm trying to put you in the kitchen to cook or not make things convenient. But if it's your goal to be healthy and to eat things that are healthy and that are good for your cells and your body, you have to be aware of what's in some of the foods that you're eating, and why you have to be the label detective when you get into the supermarkets and picking products up. And it goes for what you eat as well as the rest of your family, right? Because it's just as important for them as well to develop good, healthy habits. So again, yogurt, be mindful of yogurts with high sugars, more than 13 grams per 6-ounce container. What's the next one I said? Oh, wheat bread, whole wheat bread. Be wary of those also if they have a lot of sugar and high fructose corn syrup. And those convenient cereal bars, you want to be kind of leery of those as well. So then the question is, you're like, so Dion, so then what can I eat? So what I'll say is, and I'm in the process of doing a blog on this, is you want to break your fast with nutrient-dense foods. And what does that mean? You want to break your fast with healthy fats, proteins, things that are going to kind of start your metabolism, not allow cravings to happen, boost you that energy. There's a reason why you need the energy, right? When you break that fast, got to start your day. So I would recommend things like smoothies with protein powders, berries are great for smoothies. Nuts are great to put in smoothies. They are healthy fats. Avocados are great for breakfast and for smoothies as well. Eggs are healthy for breakfast. Scrambled eggs might be a great thing. Frittatas, that's usually made from eggs. So any kind of protein-based, healthy fats kind of thing are wonderful. I'm going to be posting a couple of recipes that you guys could check out for breakfast. So look out for those once I post this video. Otherwise, that's kind of what I wanted to pop in and talk about today. Breakfast, because we're all eating it these days and we have time to eat a lot of breakfast. So until next time, I'm going to hop off now. If you guys have any comments or questions, you can leave them in the comment box. I would love to hear from you. I'd love to hear what you guys are eating for breakfast. What are your thoughts in terms of the three foods that I talked about? Do you eat them? Do you love them? Can you stay away from them? Let me know. Let me know your comments, and then I'll be back next Wednesday for Dee's Wellness Wednesday. And if there's a topic that you want me to talk about, or there's some questions that you have on a particular topic, health topic, you can just drop me a line, and we could talk about it. Until next Wednesday, this is Dion signing out for Dee's Wellness Wednesdays. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.